presentation of Fox Sports.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
Tonight, the Tigers return home with some hot hitters in their lineup. Miguel Cabrera, 326 on the recent road trip. And how about Johnny Damon, maybe the hottest Tiger hitter, a 13-game hitting streak. Brandon Inge, 2 home runs in the ballgame last night, helped the Tigers to a split against the Texas Rangers. Tonight, it's good to be back home. A beautiful night for baseball here in the Motor City. Welcome to Comerica Park, Game 1 in this series featuring the Tigers and the Minnesota Twins. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Ron Allen, glad to have you with us. Glad to be back home after that long road trip to the friendly confines of Comerica Park. And tonight, Justin Verlander is on the mound, Rod. And yes, he got a victory against the Angels his last time out, but I think the feeling is he can do a whole lot better.
Oh, no debate about that. And Verlander will be the first one to tell you that. It was about this time last year where Verlander's season really turned around. His first few starts of the month of April were not good. He finally got it going the final start of April, and then he got busy the remainder of the season. This is the Verlander that needs to show up in the ball game today. The one with the good fading changeup. He's got to get ahead in the count. He's got to use his slider. He's got to use his curveball, because this lineup he's going up against tonight is absolutely no joke. These Minnesota Twins can really hit 1 through 9.
Yeah, they really can. It all starts at the top with the Denard spanning all the way down through the bottom of the lineup. But in the middle is that guy named Joe Mauer, who is now a long-term Minnesota Twin. We're going to call him Mr. Minnesota. He's dynamite.
You know, he comes off like this cat you'd like your daughter to marry, and that might be the case. But this guy's a cold assassin. He gets it done on both sides of the ball. You take a look at winning the Triple Crown last year. 365 average, 404 on-base percentage. Slugging percentage was off the chain. He's hard to defend. He hits the ball from foul line to foul line. Usually takes the very first pitch, but every now and then he'll swing at that first pitch, and when he does some damage. He is worth the price of admission, and it should be nice today watching this matchup of Verlander and also Mauer.
Should be a fun series. Glad to have you with us. And coming up in this one here this evening, the Tigers face a pretty good lefty. Off to a good start as Francisco Liriano, 3-1 lifetime against Detroit. Tigers and Twins, Game 1, coming up next. After an 11-game road trip in which the Tigers went 5-6, they are back home tonight, and it's really good to be back here at the ballpark. The Minnesota Twins are in town tonight. And by the way, if Detroit combines for 3 or more home runs in this game, make sure you bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow. Get a free small order of curly fries. You can find a copy of the box score in your local newspaper or at the Tigers page at foxsportsdetroit.com. Well, the Tigers, Ron, I'm sure are glad to be back home, although it's going to be a short homestand. And when you think about 5 and 6 through the cities they played in, that's not all that bad, and I'm sure Jim Leland would take it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he would never really say so, but knowing that he had to go out west, looking at Felix Hernandez's very first game, then going to Anaheim, then to Texas, where it's hard to win games as well, they'll take that 5 and 6 getting back home here against a tough schedule as well this week with Minnesota and Los Angeles.
As you just saw, Justin Verlander had his game face on. He and the Tigers take the field. Good to see the home whites again. Haven't seen those in a while. We'll check out the Tigers, or the Twins starting lineup, I should say. It is brought to you by Honda Bloomfield. And here's who Justin Verlander will face tonight. It'll be Denard Span leading it off in center field, followed by Orlando Hudson, the second baseman. Joe Mauer is hitting third and catching. Justin Morneau is at first base. Michael Kadire is in right field. Jason Kubel in left. And there's Jim Thome. 7 career home runs coming into this one against Verlander. He is the DH, followed by J.J. Hardy and Brendan Harris in their lineup. The Tigers pitcher is Justin Verlander. His scouting report is presented by Ace Hardware.
Well, it's time for Verlander to figure it out. His last time out, he got a W, but he threw 120 plus pitches in just 5 innings. He can't do that against the Minnesota Twins. They've been a patient bunch this year, and that means he needs to bring his A game. They got 4 left-handers that can do some damage, and of course we know about the M&M boys. They're right front and center as far as those left-handers are concerned. And when most of us got back home at about 3:30 last night in the AM, Verlander was already asleep because he flew back from Texas a little earlier, so he's well rested. Let's take a look at the Tigers defensively, presented by Beaumont Hospital. You've got the very talented Austin Jackson anchoring the outfield and center field. He can go foul line to foul line. He catches everything. In the infield, it's Inja, Santiago, Sizemore, Cabrera, G Money behind the dish, as he always is when Verlander is pitching. And let's hope that's a good combination today.
All righty, JV just about set to go to work. He got his first win against the Angels in his last start, but overall this year, the elevated ERA, and he is hopefully going to turn it on just about this time of the year like he did last year.
It'd be nice. That much is for sure.
And we'll see what Verlander can do here against the Minnesota Twins team that comes in tonight at 13 and 6. They are atop the American League's Central Division, off to a very fine start. Verlander facing Denard Span, Orlando Hudson, and Joe Mauer in the first inning under clear skies here at Comerica Park. Here we go. The first pitch of the ball game is right at the knees. A strike on Denard Span.
Span is off to a slow start this year from a batting average standpoint, but this guy's a proven 300 hitter in this league. He'll be fine when it's all said and done.
And it's really fascinating what he's been able to do against Tigers pitching in his career. We saw those numbers briefly. 405 against Detroit pitching.
Good leadoff man. Nice, quick, short, compact stroke.
Verlander's 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball drops in right at the knees. Strike 2.
That's encouraging to see, because that's the one thing that Rick Knapp and also the bullpen coach Jeff Jones have been trying to get Verlander to do, and that's mix his pitches up early. And it's good to see him thread the needle with that curveball right there.
Now the 1-2 to Span. Wouldn't chase the fastball at 97. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Our game time temperature here this evening, 52 degrees. Tigers have the Twins coming to town, and then the Angels will follow them. Back out of play. 2-2 the count remains on Span. Well, the Twins tied him up with a 5-year extension in March. This is a key part of their lineup, as it turns out. We talk about the M&M boys, but Ron Gardenhire has a little bit of speed at the top now. They can do some things.
They've got a great organization. I mean, let's face it. They've got a great organization.
Well, and they've got the banners to prove it, I suppose. I mean, they're a team that many years people think, well, the Twins just don't have enough this year. And at the end, in October, they are standing. Breaking ball. This time it misses, and the count goes full now on Span.
That's a tough pitch to lay off of, but a guy like Span, who's not a power hitter, that's not all that aggressive with 2 strikes, he watches that ball very closely and therefore able to lay off that borderline breaking ball that so many would swing at.
Fastball rolled to the right side. Sizemore has it. Spain is kept off the base pass. One away. Bring up one of the newer Minnesota Twins, Orlando Hudson.
The O-Dog.
Signed to play second base this year. Was over in the National League last year with the Dodgers.
He can play some second base. He has won 4 Gold Gloves at that position. Outstanding defender.
Verlander misses high. Again with the fastball 1-0 on Hudson. Orlando has hit safely in his last 3, batting .276. Twins signed him to a 1-year deal this past February as they kind of retooled their infield a little bit. J.J. Hardy also joining the team. And this is a Minnesota team that has done very well defensively early on this season. The 1-1. Spinning out of there is Hudson.
And Verlander can go a couple different ways now on this 2-1 pitch. He can come back with a fastball if he chooses to do so. But he's also got a nice feel for that breaking ball today. We've seen a curveball that's been outstanding. And that changeup, real nice fading action to the left-hander as well.
There's a strike called. Even up the count. Two and two on Orlando Hudson, just underway tonight from Comerica Park. Fouled away. Twins lead the league in club fielding. They are among the best in team pitching in terms of ERA. And they've been able to ride those 2 statistics. And even, I guess, if you're looking at team batting as well, they're in the top 3. Haven't done a whole lot wrong this year. Ooh, breaking ball just missed 3 and 2.
They got a real nice manager as well, Ron Gardenhire. They have won 5 division championships under Gardenhire. And he has yet to win a Manager of the Year award. He has finished second 5 times.
You know, that's really amazing when you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you would figure with the divisional titles that they have won, somewhere along the line, he would get one of them.
He's well respected among his peers. I do know that for sure. One of the best managers in baseball.
Again, the 3-2 pitch. Got him. Strike 3. Hudson punched out of there. First strikeout of the ball game for Verlander.
Don't think for 1 minute Verlander does not know what's at stake here in this ball game tonight. He knows his teammates are tired, but that doesn't mean they're not going to go out and compete. He's well rested. He flew back early. Minnesota, one of the hottest teams in all of baseball, and they've been tough on him as well. So he is up for this challenge here tonight.
2 outs for Joe Mauer. And Mauer off to yet another Mauer type start. 382. He missed all of April last year and got back in action in May and just never stopped hitting.
He's an amazing talent and really an amazing person. A better person than he is a player, and that's hard to say.
Right back up the middle. And Santiago having played nicely. A 1-2-3 inning for Justin Verlander. Nice start tonight. Tigers come to the plate in the bottom of the first inning. No score. Starting lineup, it is presented tonight by Big Boy. Jim Leland's lineup looks like this. Austin Jackson leads it off in center field. Boy, he's gotten off to a great start. So is Johnny Damon. His first 7 games, 30. His last 13, 4-13. I guess that means he's gotten better after a slow start. Ordonez in right. Cabrera's at first, followed by Inge and Rayburn. Your bottom 3 is Laird, Sizemore, and Santiago. The Bernstein Advantage brings you the scouting report on Francisco Liriano. Get the Bernstein Advantage. We go to bat for you.
When spring training started, Liriano was competing for the number 5 spot in their rotation, but when he left spring training, he was pitching like an ace, and he's continued to do so. He's finally healthy after having that Tommy John surgery a couple of years ago. It's taken him a while to get back to full strength, but he's there. But he needs to be careful against Maglio and also Cabrera, because those two have good numbers against Francisco.
Jackson hits this one in the air. The center fielder is there. Span hauls it in, and Jackson is out.
They say the velocity with his fastball is not quite back to 95 miles an hour as it was when we watched him in 2006 when he was pitching alongside Johan Santana, but he's anywhere from 89 to 92. But that slider is back with good depth, and he's throwing that slider at the back foot of the right-handed hitters, and it's a very good pitch for him.
Well, the results have been very good in his last 2 starts. In fact, he comes into this one with over 15 innings of scoreless baseball under his belt.
Tigers need to be aggressive on Liriano today if he's trying to get that first pitch strike over, because once he gets ahead of you, he's almost impossible to hit.
Johnny Damon, 13-game hitting streak. What a road trip he had. He was at 432 on the trip, and over 400 during his streak. 2-1. Damon has really solidified the top of that Tigers lineup, especially with the fast start that Jackson has gotten off to. Damon has been getting on base, and that means a lot of opportunities for Ordonez and Cabrera.
And they've been taking advantage of all of them. Nice slide piece there by Liriano.
Now the 2-2 pitch. Slice toward left field. Shading his eyes is Kubel, staring into the sunlight. 2 gone. A little bit difficult for that left field and even parts of center field at this time of night. Still some sunshine out there and some shadows as well.
That's what Kubel's looking at.
So with 2 gone, that'll bring up Ordonez. Maglio at 293. Hits this one in the air to right field. On the move, Kadire, and it's going to be an easy inning and a quick inning, an 8-pitch inning for Francisco Liriano. Tigers go 1-2-3. We go to the second. Strength and stability since 1849. And by Comcast, call 1-800-COMCAST for TV, phone, and internet. Back here at the ballpark, the Tigers and the Minnesota Twins doing battle here. Here's the mechanical man, Charlie Gehringer, immortalized out there in left field amongst the statues. It's just good to be back home and be in the home ballpark for a while.
No doubt about that, because really that first homestand they had was a blur. I mean, because, you know, families were in town. It was opening weekend. Every single day was a game day, a day game, excuse me. Tigers finally went on the road and able to kind of get there in regular routines by playing night games, but it feels like really the first homestand of the year.
I think that's a good way to put it. It was a blur, especially with opening day and all those day games in a row. Justin Morneau leads it off, and he looks at strike one from Verlander.
Morneau is off to a sizzling start this year. What a player. He's going to be in that MVP conversation at the end of the season, just like he is every single year.
You know what you might be looking at here in this series are the two best 3 and 4s we have in the American League. I mean, you could make an argument for Mauer and Morneau, and you could make an argument as well for Ordonez and Cabrera.
I would not argue with you. That is for sure.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and Verlander picks up another strikeout. That's his second.
What a pitch. What a pitch. Is this a slider? It sure is. It's a slider. If he ever masters that pitch at 86, 87 miles an hour, boy, is he going to take another step.
Here's Michael Kadire. Well, it's kind of amazing when you think about it. A guy like Verlander that has an above-average fastball, curveball, and changeup at the big league level, but yet that fourth pitch, that slider, which gives hitters a different look, can really make a difference.
Well, one of the things that we've talked about, and we well documented it.
Inge will throw out Kadire.
Inge has got shortstop feet at the third base position. It's a nice luxury to have. Since he started playing that position in 2006, he's got more putouts than any other third baseman. But just to finish that thought, Verlander, one of the reasons why he wanted to start throwing that slider is that everybody seems to be fouling off a lot of his fastballs and his curveballs, so he's trying to come up with a pitch that will allow him to maneuver through some of these American League lineups a little easier without them fouling off everything.
And you can see what happened there with Morneau. It was a 3-pitch at bat because he threw that slider for strike 3.
Ooh.
Kubel, meanwhile, has struggled out of the chute.
He is mixing them up well here today, and he needs to do so. And the next time around this lineup, he's got to change because that's how good Minnesota is.
The hook misses inside. 2-1. Yeah, they come at you with some pretty good hitters. Mauer, Morneau, Kadire, Kubel. You got Thome on deck. Fouled away. 2-2.
And when you're able to get to that curveball and throw it so effectively, if you get a look at the dangerous Thome with 7 career home runs against Verlander, then that just makes your job a lot easier on the fastball. You can blow the fastball by some guys if the secondary pitches are there for you. Ooh, he wanted it.
3-2.
Looked good too. Paul Emmel says it's up.
In the air toward left field, hit pretty well. Rayburn is on the run, still going back to the wall and can't get it. He crashes into the wall. Jackson will back him up, and it's a double for Jason Kubel. And hopefully Rayburn's okay. Opposite field, 2-base hit for Jason Kubel. Looks like he's limping a bit.
Well, you want to try to stay out of those fastball counts against Verlander. Nice short swing by Kubel. He knew Verlander was going to come at him with a fastball, and he hit it. And Rayburn wasn't able to get to it.
So the first hit of the ball game for Minnesota, and now Jim Thome will try and cash him in. 100th career double for Kubel. Thome at .235 has hit 3 home runs this season.
And Tigers have the legendary shift on Kubel with Sizemore playing in right field. And you see Santiago playing directly behind the bag.
That'll get away from the catcher. Laird to the backstop it goes. Move the runner up.
2 fastballs at 97. Looked like Verlander reached back to get a little extra in both pitches Laird had to reach for.
So the wild pitch advances Jason Kubel now. He's 90 feet away. And maybe more importantly now it's 2-0 on Jim Thome, who, as Rod just mentioned, has 7 career home runs against Verlander.
He doesn't have to pitch to him. He's got 2 outs. He's got a base open. He's got a nice little parking spot for Thome.
Breaking ball in for a strike.
With J.J. Hardy in the on-deck circle. No disrespect to J.J. Hardy, but Thome's kind of figured Verlander out. At least early in his career. Verlander has had some success against Thome as well.
Strike call. 2-2. Thome wasn't so sure about that last call.
When you got 99 in your back pocket with some swing back action like Verlander had there, not a whole lot of guys can hit that pitch.
Jim Thome in his career 566 home runs. That is good for 12th all time on the homer list. And he takes just inside 3-2. 99 again from Verlander.
Oh, he's on a mission today. He's getting to that real nice balanced position, which allows him to get maximum arm speed, and 99 is awfully hard to hit.
Full count pitch. Lost in ball 4. Thome gets a walk.
No harm, no foul. We don't mind that at all.
It's going to bring up J.J. Hardy. Hardy batting just .214, but he has hit 3 home runs this year. J.J. earlier in the month of April had an 0 for 14 stretch, hence the low batting average to start the season.
Despite some guys off to slow starts like Kubel, Span, you brought up Hardy. And Minnesota still rolling as a team.
Well, they're pitching well. They're playing defense. And they have Mauer and Morneau, who are both hitting well. Kadire is also. Kubel right now is at third, and Thome is at first. Fouled straight back. 1-1 on J.J. Hardy, the former Milwaukee Brewer. They made a deal for Carlos Gomez. And Gomez went over to Milwaukee. Hardy coming to Minnesota.
Ron Gardenhire did not know what he was going to do with his outfield situation. When the season was closing last year, they had 4 starting outfielders, so they decided to trade Gomez to open up spots for Delman Young, who usually starts, and of course Span and Kadire. Kubel pretty much is their DH, but with Thome being on board now, Kubel's going to play a little bit more outfield.
Well, Verlander needed just 5 pitches to retire the first 2 batters in this frame, Morneau and Kadire, but then a double, a wild pitch, and a walk.
You may remember Verlander back in 2006 basically had to teach himself this new curveball. Verlander had a knuckle curveball when he came to the big leagues.
That's rolled to third base, should get him out of the inning, and it will. They get a force at second base to retire the side. So nothing comes of the double and the walk. Here comes the bottom of the second.
Scoreless game as we go to the bottom of the second inning. It'll be Miguel Cabrera, Brandon Inge, Ryan Rayburn facing Francisco Liriano. Tigers went 1-2-3 very quickly on just 8 pitches in that first frame. And strike one is called on Cabrera.
That's a well-located fastball there for strike one. At the knees, 94 firm inside. Tough pitch to get to, even for Cabrera. And there has not been much that he has not been able to get to.
He is 3 for 9 career against Liriano, and one of those 3 hits, a home run.
How about 3 home runs against closers this year?
Pretty impressive.
You got Soria, Fuentes, and then yesterday, the youngster, Naphtali Feliz.
Ball outside, 1-2.
There ain't a whole lot of guys walking around that can take closers deep like that.
And the one that he hit last night was huge, breaking a 6-6 tie. And that would have been a really difficult loss for the Tigers to stomach had they not come back and won that game. They were leading 6-1 at one point.
A little gut check for the boys, but worked out well for them.
Full count, 3-2 on Cabrera. Miguel had 15 hits on the road trip. He batted .326 on the trip. Grounded toward third. Stabbed there by Harris. What a play. And he'll throw out Cabrera.
You cannot throw a strike by Cabrera these days. Every time he hits the ball, he's hitting a bullet somewhere. And what a play by Harris. This ball absolutely crushed by Cabrera, courtesy of Lincoln Mercury. That's our Exmo. One step and a dive. Quickly gets to his feet. He's got plenty of time with Cabrera running down the line. He robbed him of a double.
You know what I love about Exmo is you can see the spin of the ball, whether it's off the pitcher's hand or off the hitter's bat.
It's a nice look. Big fella. He's like, okay, I got you. Oh, he's ready. He's ready.
We'll have round 2 and then round 3.
He's ready.
Brandon Inge batting. Inge at .270. Had a really good game yesterday. 3 hits, including the 2 home runs.
Looks like Liriano's going to try to crowd some of these Tiger right-handers with good firm fastballs inside. At least get them thinking about the fastball, and then kind of go soft away with the 2-seam fastball. He's got a nice fading changeup. He also has a couple of different sliders. But he, like so many of the Minnesota Twins pitchers, they just don't beat themselves. They just throw lots of strikes.
And that has typically been their calling card. You keep the walks down. And usually when you look at the pitching numbers, Minnesota's toward the top every year.
They throw strikes.
Seems to go hand in hand. Only 47 walks this year coming in for Rick Anderson's staff. Swing at a tip and foul. 2-2 on Brandon.
Rick Anderson's been with Gardenhire since Gardenhire took over back in 2002.
Swing and a miss. Inge is out on strikes. That is the first strikeout of the game for Liriano.
Hey fans, here's a lineup of upcoming April in the D live events tonight. Game 7, Red Wings at Phoenix at 9 on Fox Sports Detroit. Then you've got the Tigers here against Minnesota on Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday's a 1 o'clock start. For a complete April in the D telecast, visit foxsportsdetroit.com.
Here's Ryan Rayburn. We got the Tigers offense off and running last night in Texas with that bases loaded double. They plated 3. He's knocked in 4 for the year. Rayburn getting another start tonight out in left field with the lefty on the mound. Big swing there, 1-1. Liriano is still only 26 years old. He was 5-13 last year. Off speed is high. 2-1. Tommy John surgery in 07, so he missed all of that year. But boy, in 2006, he was a good looking prospect, and it looks like he's getting back to where he was.
It's really fascinating when you kind of look at what happened to the Minnesota Twins last year. They didn't have Mauer for the first month of the season. They didn't have Morneau for the final month of the season. You talked about Liriano's lack of success, but yet at the end of the day, they were the team that went to the postseason.
That is true.
And this year, they got some bad news in spring training. Their closer, Nathan, going down with Tommy John surgery, and they still haven't missed a beat. So it doesn't really matter what happens around this team, what they have to go through. They just play real good Minnesota Twins kind of baseball.
Got him, strike three. Rayburn is out of there. The second strikeout for Liriano. 6 up, 6 down against the Minnesota lefty. 2 in the books here at Comerica. Still no score. Back here in the Motor City, a nice night for baseball. A little bit cool, 52 degrees our game time temp, but a nice night nonetheless. And the Twins are in town. The first place Minnesota Twins. Tigers coming into play tonight at 11-9, and they trailed Minnesota by 2.5. Good pitching matchup in this one. Verlander and Liriano scoreless so far as Harris leads it off. First pitch rides inside from Verlander. It'll be Harris, then Span, and then Hudson. Twins had a chance to get a run in the second. They had a double and a walk, but failed to score. The 1-0. Down the middle it comes.
Verlander's got that good fastball today. And he's touched 99 in this game, and most of the fastballs that he's thrown have been above 95 miles an hour.
2-1 on Brendan Harris, who is off to a 200 start. He's hit 1 home run this year. The only Twin in their lineup without a home run yet this season is their leadoff man, Span. Everybody else has at least one. Hammered foul. Harris now in his 3rd year as a Minnesota Twin. He's bounced around a bit. He's been with Tampa, the Cubs, Montreal, and Washington in his career.
Nick Punto is battling some type of hip ailment, and that's why he's not playing third base. He's been out for about a week now.
To the shortstop, and Santiago bobbles it. Boy, you don't see that happen often, if at all. E6. Leadoff man is on. Verlander will have to pitch around the air.
Yep, that's one thing you can't do. You can't give Minnesota extra outs. And Verlander definitely has the kind of ability to pitch around a miscue by the shortstop. Ball just takes a little bit of a tricky hop on him, climbs up his arm. No play for Santiago. Span has a couple of sacrifice bunts this year. He is one of the few Minnesota Twins that will bunt.
Second error this year for Santiago. Denard Span 0 for 1 with a ground ball.
Span tough to double up though on the ground. He got good speed, especially running out of the batter's box on that side.
He offered it that one and missed.
That's real good concentration by Spann to pull the bat back that late. Some new road uniforms, Minnesota Sports. I remember seeing these uniforms.
Yep, they are a little bit different look, different script. I like them.
Yeah, sharp.
Ooh, quick throw, and that time a little bit closer as Harris gets back in.
And Jim Leyland handles the running game, and he knows that Gardenhire is very aggressive. First pitch to Spann looked like the sacrifice bunt was on, but you never know on the second time around.
1 ball and 1 strike.
We're talking about that Verlander curveball last half inning, and it's hard to believe that he kind of had to teach that pitch to himself. This new curveball, the more conventional curveball in the big leagues in 2006. He was already a big leaguer, but he kept getting that blister on his index finger when he tried to throw that knuckle curveball that he had thrown his entire life.
That seemed like so long ago.
It does.
He's accomplished so much from that time and to this point.
Didn't take him long to learn that pitch and master. He's kind of mastered that curveball now.
He's got the gruff look going tonight with a little beard going.
He's got the curveball grip. That doesn't mean he's going to throw it, though.
On the ground slowly towards second base. Sizemore flips to second one. Relay not in time. Spann is able to beat it out.
Very few guys do not get doubled up there. It's a good slider, firm slider inside, and very aggressive slide here by Harrison. Santiago still able to elude the slide and get the throw off. Very nice job here by Santiago.
So that'll bring up Hudson. Orlando struck out back in the first. Ooh, it looks like they got him. Oh, was that close? How did they not get him? Gary Darling says nope.
Verlander's got lightning quick feet, and if you're one of those guys that likes to stutter step late to take your jump, that's when Verlander can pick you off. Verlander thought he got him.
And with the naked eye, I thought he did too, but on the replay, it looked like Darling made the right call. It looked like he just got back in. Spann with 5 steals. He's been caught once. Strike called. Hudson struck out against Verlander in the first inning. Orlando hit .283 last year with 62 RBIs for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
He was the starting second baseman the majority of the year, and he struggled down the stretch, and they gave the job to Rafael Belliard. It's not Rafael Belliard. What's Belliard's first name?
Ronnie Belliard.
Ronnie Belliard.
Yeah. Rafael's with us.
Yeah. I knew it started with an R.
You're close. Well, Hudson hit a hit for the cycle in his first game with the Dodgers last year. Did he go? Nope. Bruce Streckman down at third said he held. 1 ball, 1 strike on Hudson. All-Star and a Gold Glover last year. One and two. Hudson signed a 1-year deal in February with Minnesota. Ground ball, base hit right field. Span goes to second, and he'll take the turn but hold up. Base hit for Orlando Hudson. 2 on now with 1 out.
And most left-handers like the fastball down and in, and with Cabrera holding Span on, and no chance for Miguel to make that play. Span had to dodge the baseball. It almost hit him.
So now the dangerous Joe Mauer stands in.
9 out of 10 times Mauer takes the very first pitch, but that one time he decides to swing, you just have to be careful with him. He's such a smart hitter. It's amazing how patient he is and how many pitches he does take, and that's why he won the Triple Crown as a hitter in the American League last year. Highest batting average, best on-base percentage, highest slugging average as well. He's dangerous.
Last guy to lead the league in all 3 of those categories was George Brett, and that was back in 1980 when he hit .390.
Yeah, 30 years ago.
And those are the numbers that won Mauer the MVP last year. Batting title. And here we are. It's not even the month of May this year, and he already has a 5-hit game. He did that against Kansas City last week. Strike call, 2-1.
He's always been a special talent. Coming out of high school in Minnesota. Player of the Year. United States Player of the Year in football and also baseball. That's amazing.
2-1 pitch. Driven to center field. Jackson is on the run. He'll get there. 2 outs. Jackson again getting a very good jump on that ball.
This ball slicing away from Jackson as well, and that's what Mauer does best. Stays inside out the baseball. Very nice. Great route by Jackson, and that's the only way he's able to get there. If he pauses for 1 split second, that ball's up against the gap. Mauer's on second, and they've got a couple of runs on the board.
Here's Morneau, who has hit safely in each of his last 8 games against the Tigers dating back to last year. Chased out of the zone that time. It's funny, Rod, because you look at these 2 guys in the middle of their lineup, and you've got Mauer and Morneau, both left-handed batters, and managers like to split lefties up, but these guys hit left-handed pitching no problem anyway.
When they face a left-hander, they still bat 3rd and 4th.
It
really doesn't matter. Yeah.
There's a strike. Well, they've retired 1 dangerous hitter in Mauer. They're working on Morneau now. The count is 0-2. Verlander struck him out back in the 2nd. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him to chase again. 3rd strikeout for Verlander. He's gotten Morneau twice in this game. They strand a couple of runners. Big strikeout gets him out of the jam. Hey, fans, don't forget to vote for your Tigers McDonald's Player of the Game using your cell phone. Text Tigers followed by a space in the player's uniform number to 37338. That's FSDET. See the final results at the end of the game. Liriano back to the hill. And it's still a scoreless ball game here as we head to the bottom of the third. Laird, Sizemore, and Santiago against the lefty Liriano. G-Money trying to get it going offensively. Laird has walked in 6 of his last 8, but he hadn't had a whole lot of luck recently. Some hard hit balls, but still batting just 140.
When you start to get a few walks, though, however, you're starting to see the baseball a little bit better. So he may be getting close to getting a few more knocks. He did double in his final at bat in the ball game last night in Texas, but was thrown out at third trying to stretch the double into a triple.
Tigers still looking for their first hit here tonight. And it's fouled back out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Gerald Laird. Sizemore and Santiago to follow. Tigers have yet to have a scoring opportunity against Liriano. Twins have had a couple of chances, though, have failed to score. And he got him on the outside corner. Strike 3, and that is the 3rd strikeout for Liriano.
Hey, fans, be at Comerica Park this Saturday for the 105 game against the Angels. And don't miss the on-field clinic beginning at 11 a.m. The first 10,000 fans receive a Tigers team calendar. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or log on to tigers.com.
Here's Sizemore. Checks his swing and rolls it slowly towards second. Hudson throws him out.
Hudson makes that play about as well as any second baseman in baseball. That one not hit all that hard, but he comes in and he has a very nice transfer to the throwing hand.
Now Santiago.
You know what's also amazing about this Minnesota Twins team? They've only committed 2 errors this year as an entire team. One by Hudson and one by Delman Young in the outfield.
Yeah, I guess back to the defense we were talking about earlier and how they have ridden their defense to a pretty good start. You say that, though, but still they're batting .270 as a team. So really in all facets, they've been pretty consistent. The 0-1.
The Twins pitchers know how hard the infielders work in spring training. And their infielders take loads and loads of ground balls early in spring training. And they also have the pitchers watch on occasion. And that's one of the ways they encourage their pitchers into throwing strikes. They say, look how hard these guys are working for you in spring training in the morning. Give them a chance to play. And when the ball is hit on the ground, they usually make the play because they're well prepared in that area.
Well, 19 games into the season, as you mentioned, just 2 errors, and that's pretty remarkable.
Adam Everett said as much last year when he came over to the Tigers after spending the previous year with Minnesota. He said he had never taken as many ground balls in spring training as he did with them, and Liriano's got it rolling.
4 strikeouts for Liriano, 9 up, 9 down against the Minnesota lefty. who are the last set of Tigers to do it. With the tied score in the 9th inning. That's your trivia question tonight. Meanwhile, Michael Kadire leads it off as we go to the 4th inning. Verlander and Liriano hooked up in a pretty good one here tonight. Verlander has thrown 59 pitches through 3 innings. Liriano has been more economical, 37 pitches. First one is outside to Kadire. Bounced out back in the second, 0 for 1.
JV's got that real nice curveball going today, and he's buckling some of the knees of the right-handed hitters and even some of the left-handers. That's how good his breaking ball is today. And Verlander told me the key for the curveball is the arm speed has got to be really fast, and you got to come out of the same window is the fastball to get the deception that you need. Twins don't get into the postseason last year if it wasn't for the last month of the season that Kadire had. When Morneau went down with that injury and was lost for the year, not only did he switch position and start playing first base, but he started hitting like Morneau too.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Well, he had 29 RBIs in the final month alone.
He kind of carried him. Delman Young was also sizzling hot in the month of September. They stepped up.
3-2 pitch. Driven to center, right at Jackson. Hit it hard, but right at him, one gone. Couldn't bring up Kubel.
Meanwhile, this is about the best we've seen Verlander this year. I know the pitch count's kind of up there, 65, but Minnesota will do that to you. They've got a really patient team. They've got really good hitters, and they got good left-handed hitters. But stuff-wise, this is the best I've seen Verlander this year.
Kubel got him for a double the opposite way his first time up and takes a ball high and outside, 1-0. Kubel hit 300 last year. In fact, he had career highs in every category. Homers, RBIs.
Yeah, 28 homers. Kubel's a real good fastball hitter. He's one of those guys that you want to stay out of these types of counts, 2 balls and no strikes, because if you throw him a fastball, he usually hits it hard somewhere, as he did his first time up against Verlander.
Out in front that time, 2-2. Well, Kubel.
Nice change piece here, 2-0. Verlander knows how lethal Kubel can be in fastball counts.
And again, that Verlander fastball at 96. It's been mid to upper 90s in this game. Fouled away.
Verlander's last start, the Los Angeles Angels fouled off 37 total pitches that Verlander threw of the 124, 24 of which were with 2 strikes. And the Twins have already fouled off quite a few here today.
Verlander gets his 4th strikeout, 1 in each inning. 2 outs.
You really can see the depth from this angle on that breaking ball.
Here's Tomey. Base on balls back in the 2nd.
Verlander tells the story about Jim Tomey. We've talked about Tomey has hit 7 home runs against Verlander, and Verlander said he had a bat autographed by Tomey after Tomey hit his 500th home run, and Jim signed the bat to Justin. Thanks for all the help, Jim Tomey.
He got there quickly with him.
All the help meaning helping him get to the 500 home run plateau with the 7 he gave up.
Well, again, it appears he doesn't want a whole lot to do with Tomey here. 3-0. 566 lifetime homers. Three and one. When the Twins signed Tomey, they also knew that he had hit 57 career home runs against Minnesota, which is the most against their franchise by a single player. And there's ball 4.
Can't beat him, join him.
Exactly. Second walk for Verlander.
Verlander's pitching smart. If a guy's taking you deep 7 times in his career and the score is 0-0, that's the one guy that you're not going to let beat you.
There's J.J. Hardy. Hardy with a bounce out back in the second. There's a strike call. If you recall, a couple of years ago, Verlander threw his no-hitter against the Milwaukee Brewers, and it was Hardy that made the final out of that game. A fly ball to Maglio in right field, which sealed the no-hitter for Verlander. The 1-1 fouled back out of play. Let's relive that moment, shall we? June 12th of 2007. Verlander knew it. And JV had his no-hitter. It's fouled back out of play.
J.J. Hardy was an all-star that year, and Minnesota's hoping that that's the J.J. Hardy they traded for, not the J.J. Hardy that kind of struggled in 08 and really struggled in 09.
He was sent out of the minor leagues by Milwaukee last year. He finished with 47 RBIs, hit .229. Two and two. They gave up Carlos Gomez, who I thought was really going to be a really, really good player, and still may be, but he's over in the National League now.
That's a good observation. He's got a lot of talent, a lot of tools. They had a surplus of outfielders.
And the 2-2 pitch. Missed it outside, 3-2. So Verlander's pitch count really high again here this evening. Even though he hasn't given up a run, this will be his 83rd pitch already. And it's driven foul. '25th coming up in this half inning alone. Into right field, Maglio is on the run, and this ball is over his head up against the wall. Thome is lumbering to third. They're going to stop him there. It's a 2-base hit for J.J. Hardy. And now second and third with 2 outs. Third hit tonight for Minnesota.
Looks like he gets himself a fastball up, and of course Verlander supplying the majority of this power. I thought after this ball trickled off Maglio's glove when he was trying to retrieve it, the runner would score, but then I had to remember it was Jim Thome that was running from first base, and he doesn't have that kind of speed to score on that ball.
Alger had given him the stop sign down at third, and I doubt he wanted to crank him up again as he was cruising into third base.
7 3-ball counts already in this game by Verlander, which is quite a few.
Yeah, and there you have it. That's why his pitch count may get to 90 before this 4th inning is done. Brendan Harris is 0 for 1. He did reach out an error back in the 3rd. That one missed. 1-1. 86 pitches now for Verlander. He threw 125 in his victory against the Angels, but that was only in 5 innings of work on that last road trip. And that's the most pitches he has thrown in a single game to this point. Thome and Hardy, the base runners. Thome at third base. A 1-1. Tried to hold up.
It's a wicked two-seam fastball. Golly, at 98. Laird barely caught that ball. How in the world do you get the fastball to move that much at that kind of velocity?
Way outside. Laird had to go the other way that time and hauled that one in 2-2.
I could hear Verlander grunting all the way up here. He overthrew that ball.
There are a couple of guys on this Tiger staff that are real difficult to catch. Verlander being one, Zamaya being the other. Laird getting a workout tonight. Here's the 2-2. Bouncing ball, second base. Sizemore throws him out. Threat is over. Inning is over. Bottom of the fourth coming up. Fourth inning here at the ballpark tonight, and a cool evening for baseball. Tigers back home after that 11-game trip, and they are hooked up in a 0-0 battle with Minnesota so far. Top of the order coming up against Liriano. It's Jackson, Damon, and Ordonez still looking for the first Tigers hit tonight as Austin shows bunt.
And Jackson's a good bunter. Worked on it a lot in spring training with Gene Lamont in the batting cages down in Florida, and has already bunted a couple of times successfully this year for base hits. Liriano looks awfully good. He's got command of all his pitches and really hasn't needed a whole lot of them to get through the Tigers in the first 3 innings. His pitch count is in tremendous shape.
18 1/3 scoreless innings consecutively now for Liriano. So he is on a roll. 2-1 on Jackson.
Rick Anderson said he told Gardenhire in spring training after Liriano was just pitching lights out baseball trying to become their 5th starter. He said, you know what? He's pitching like an ace. He's not pitching like a number 5. We might get lucky. We might get us a number 1 out of this, which is always nice to have. A legitimate number 1.
There's ball 4, and there's the first Tigers base runner of the game. Jackson is on. Bring up Johnny Damon. Damon 0 for 1. He lined to the left fielder his first time up. Johnny trying to extend that 13-game hitting streak. He's also been on base in 16 straight.
Brendan Harris at third is about 10 feet in front of the bag at third base, and I don't really remember bunting for base hits being part of Johnny Damon's game.
Agreed.
Obviously, this is the first year we've had him, but I just don't remember him being a guy that tries to bunt for hits very often. But this is a nice luxury to have if you're Damon, especially against a guy like Liriano, who pretty much is going to stay away from you anyway. You let the ball travel and you try to hit something right past the third baseman in Harris. You can't get greedy against Liriano because he's got his A game today. Just try to slap it right by him.
Foul down the left field line, 1-2.
Nice try.
Damon needs just a couple of runs for 1,500 in his career. 2 runs scored to reach that plateau. And at this point in his career, the numbers are starting to pile up. Johnny's been in the big leagues a while. Bouncing ball to second base, should be 2. Here comes the relay, and it's in time from Hardy for the double play. 4-6-3. Base is empty now for Maglio Ordonez. Mags 0 for 1. No balls and 2 strikes. Ordonez came in with really good numbers against Liriano. He was 8 for 21 with a couple of home runs against Francisco. Good pitch, but it just missed the outside corner. Liriano back in 2006 was 12-3 with a 2.16 ERA. That's when everybody started talking about this young man. Tommy John surgery followed the next season. In that 06 campaign, he set the rookie record for strikeouts for Minnesota pitchers, beating Bert Blyleven's old mark that he established in 1970. Lifted back out of play. Three and two. Cabrera waiting in the on deck circle. Scoreless ball game so far. The top 2 teams in the Central. Got him. Strike 3 called. Ordonez is out. And give Liriano 5 strikeouts in this game. 5th inning coming up. No score. The 2011 Jaguar XJ. Back here at the ballpark, nighttime starting to settle in on a cool evening here in the Motor City. Still no score in this one as we go to the top of the fifth, and Justin Verlander getting ready to go back to work. It's Denard Span, the top of the lineup coming up. Span, Hudson, and Mauer for Minnesota. Span is 0 for 2, a couple of ground balls. Hitting .224 this year. The 1-0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Span last year hit .311 and scored 97 runs, so he nearly came around 100 times last season, setting up that Minnesota offense.
One of your better leadoff hitters in the American League. Very patient. He'll take a walk. Very high on base percentage. Just does a very nice job on both sides of the ball for Ron Gardenhire.
Two and 2 on Span. Denard, a former first-round pick of the Minnesota Twins. And he lines this one to right field. Maglio, long run, will not get there. This one is going to go all the way to the wall, and it's big-time trouble. Span is on his way to third, and he will pull in with a 3-base hit. Well, he had 16 triples last year, and he's off and running here in the 5th inning with a 3-bagger.
Looks like a little tailing fastball changeup. Something stays up, and it speeds up Span's bat. And once this ball finds some grass in the outfield, it's going to be at least a triple. And now Verlander really has some work to do.
Number 2 hitter is up there, Orlando Hudson. He's 1 for 2, single and a strikeout. Ball high, 1-0. Twins now have 4 hits. The Tigers still are without a hit through 4 innings. Of the 4 hits, 3 are for extra bases.
Which gives you an idea of just how good Liriano is for the Twins tonight, because the Tigers, from an offensive standpoint, have had no problems with no pitchers this year, really.
Rick Knapp getting on the telephone, and Justin Verlander right now has thrown 96 pitches.
That will be the next thing that he and Rick Knapp have to figure out. They have to figure out a way to not throw this many pitches in just the 5th inning. I'm sure it's something that they're working on, but I'm sure it's also something that they'd like to figure out real soon.
Popped him up. Foul ground. Inge appears to have room. Plenty of room. 1 gone. So Verlander trying to dig out of the hole. There's step 1. And now Joe Mauer will come strolling in.
Looks like the Tigers are going to play their infield in against Mauer. And I would not be shocked to see Span coming on contact. Usually guys that have the kind of speed Span has, balls that are hit on the ground, they're coming home.
Strike 1 on the outer edge.
Santiago right up to the middle, which is where Mauer hits a lot of his base hits.
Eddie Bonine, the right-hander. Brad Thomas, the left-hander. Early action again tonight for Detroit. There's a bouncer back up the middle, right at Santiago. Runner will not score. Mauer is retired, 2 away.
That's where the scouting report kind of preceded Mauer in coming here. He's been in the big leagues for a few years now, and usually on the ground, that's exactly where he hits it. And that's why Jim Leyland had Santiago playing right there. He's still got 1 huge out to get here.
Infield back now with 2 outs. And here is Morneau, who has struck out twice against Verlander tonight. 0-1. Justin has at least one strikeout in the first 4 innings.
You can still be careful here with Morneau. You got to make sure you don't give him anything too good to hit. Do not let him get loose here. Kadire in the on deck circle is no day at the beach, but this guy right here, he wins MVPs.
0-2.
Verlander gives you that fast body, a lot of arm speed, and the ball just kind of sputters out of his hand. He's throwing some outstanding curveballs today.
Morneau, meanwhile, came in hitting .300 against Verlander with a couple of home runs in his career.
They're not afraid of him.
Not a whole lot going on tonight for him, though. The 0-2 is line foul. You see the Comcast high-speed pitch range is 100 miles an hour. Verlander's touched tonight, a low of 78. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He strikes him out for the 3rd time tonight. And Verlander with a fist pump as he walks off the field. 5 strikeouts for Justin, 3 of them against Morneau. Cabrera went deep. And then he was backed up by Brandon Inge, who also went deep. And the Tigers came away with the victory in Texas, and Cabrera leads it off here in the 5th inning and drives one to center field. Hit well. Spanish on the run. Can't get it. Over his head. Cabrera's on his way to second, and there is your first Tigers hit of the night.
Cabby loves to swing the first pitch, especially when they're fastballs, and as good as Liriano's going today, Cabrera has hit 2 absolute bullets against him, which is what he usually does. It really doesn't matter whether it's a number 1 out there, whether it's a guy that has good breaking ball or a closer. Cabrera just seeing the ball awfully well right now, and that was a changeup that kind of faded back out over the plate for Cabrera. Span almost caught that ball.
So the Tigers, who have been doubling madly this season, just churning out double after double, have another one. That's fouled straight back by Inge. That is 55 doubles for the Tigers.
Apparently Lloyd has gotten in the ears of his hitters, and he has told them to be aggressive. He said before the game today that Liriano has been around the plate quite a bit, throwing lots of strikes. Therefore, he would tell his team to jump on some of those first pitch strikes.
Inge tried to bunt his way on 0-2.
I like the idea by Inge, but it's also not really part of Inge's game. You don't see Inge bunt that often. He wants to get the job done by getting Cabrera over to third base, but bunting is somewhat foreign to Brandon. He doesn't do it that often.
The Tigers now have doubled, by the way, in 16 consecutive games with a 2-bagger by Cabrera.
And he had 2 home runs yesterday and a double.
Bouncing ball to third. Tough hop for Harris, who stays with it. Inge is gone. Runner does not advance. 1 away. Well, Verlander pitched around a leadoff triple in the top of this inning, and now Liriano trying to pitch around a leadoff double. Ryan Rayburn coming up. Rayburn struck out. That was back in the second. Liriano retired the first 9 straight in this game. Ball 1 to Rayburn. First of 3 between these two teams. The Twins, coming into this series, had won all of their series this year. 6 of them. There's a strike. 1-1. Cabrera has doubled to lead off the inning. Twins have also been a really good road trip, or road trip team, I should say, this year. 7-3 on the road.
They didn't win their 7th game last year until the month of June.
Rolled foul. 1-2. Temperature dropping quickly here at the ballpark tonight.
It's a little chilly.
Got a breeze blowing.
It was pretty cold when we got off that plane this morning as well.
Yeah, that wind was whipping.
After leaving Texas, Southern California, Jack Frost was there to meet us.
Strike called, and Rayburn again is out via the strikeout. 6 of them now for Liriano. So it's going to be up to Gerald Laird. Laird fanned back in the third. Well, if you came to the ballpark tonight, I hope you brought your jacket. 45 degrees right now. There's a strike.
To give you an idea of the kind of stuff that Liriano is featuring here tonight, he has punched out 6, 5 of which looking at strike 3. That's a really nice barometer of just kind of when a guy's got some filthy stuff out there, when guys aren't swinging at the third strike.
0-2.
And he really hasn't had that good back foot slider that he throws to the right-handed batters. It's kind of been the backdoor breaking ball, the one that's kind of stayed up and out over the plate that the hitters have given up on and not been able to pull the trigger. Not that real nasty slider down and in.
Verlander on the other end has given up 4 hits, no runs, but he's thrown quite a few pitches.
Well, it looks like he's going to throw 120 again if he stays in the game. Threw 125 his last outing. It's a good night to rack up the pitch count, though. A little chilly out there. Verlander's a horse. And going over 120, really not all that new for Verlander. He did it 10 times last year for the Tigers.
Two and 2 on Laird.
Boy, is he moving the ball around. 2 seamers away, hard fastballs in, backdoor breaking balls. Mauer is calling a really nice game.
Rolled fair inside the bag at third. Harris, a long throw, safe. Terrific play by Brendan Harris, but Laird a little bit too much speed to beat that one out.
After Harris made the play, he took a look at the third base umpire, Mark Estabrook, to see whether he was going to call the ball fair or foul. I don't know if he gets Laird, if he just comes up and fires right away, but take a look at him here. He's going to come up. Now he's going to look at the umpire to see what the umpire is saying here. They teach you just come up, fire the ball across the diamond, and don't worry about what the umpire is doing there. He may have gotten him. He may not have gotten him.
Here is Sizemore. He rolled out back in the third inning. Is still alive. Tigers have their second hit.
Meanwhile, G Money will take all the hits he can get.
He kind of deserved that one. Some of the balls he's hit recently.
For sure.
1-1 on Sizemore. Scott had 7 hits on the road trip. Can deliver a big hit here. Tigers trying to break the scoreless tie in the 5th.
Slide piece. He looks like the Liriano we watched back in 2006. And he's touched 95 here with his fastball as well today.
Well, that Liriano struck out 144 that year to set the rookie record for the Twins in strikeouts.
He and Johan Santana that year were a 1-2 punch that was tough to deal with.
Swing and a miss. Tigers will strand 2. Liriano racking up the strikeouts. That's 7. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. And Marcus Thames back in May of 2006 at Kansas City. Here's the answer to your trivia question tonight.
I talked to Craig a couple of days ago in Texas. Didn't get a chance to see him, but did talk to him on the phone. He's not playing these days.
What's he doing?
I don't know. Probably still looking to get a job somewhere. He's still young, but right now just at home.
There is Michael Kadire to lead it off here in the 6th inning. Could he go overseas and play right now?
I think he had a chance to go overseas right after he left the Tigers, but his last couple of years here stateside, he really didn't do a whole lot. And you know, usually they look for guys that are either having real hot years in AAA or guys that are in the big leagues that may be looking for a different opportunity. And you know, Craig just hasn't gotten a whole lot of playing time since he left Detroit, really.
Verlander back to the hill here in the 6th. And Kadire fouls it away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Craig went where? He went to Minnesota.
First Chicago.
Oh, Chicago, you're right.
Chicago first. Then I believe it was Minnesota. Then Pittsburgh. He's played winter ball. He went down to Puerto Rico and played winter ball last offseason as well. So he's trying to get it going, but he just has not been able to recapture some of the magic he had here for the Tigers in 06.
Swing and a miss. Kadire is out of there. 6 strikeouts for Verlander.
Nice little change up there.
It's going to bring up Kubel. Knee and bonine in the Detroit bullpen right now.
Not too many fastballs for strikes to Kubel. Off speed stuff.
Kubel a double and a strikeout. Twins have stranded 7 in this ball game tonight. In fact, they're 0 for 7 with men in scoring position. 1-1. Make it 1-2 on Jason Kubel. We went through an 0 for 16 stretch earlier this month, and so his average indicates that. He's at 180 right now. The 1-2 is swung on and missed, and Verlander's starting to rack up the Ks now. That's 7. 3 in a row. Well, replay fueled by Gatorade returns with an all-new season that takes place here in Detroit. It's a riveting story as high school teammates reunite in Hockeytown. Follow the journey of Catholic Central versus Trenton at replaytheseries.com. The 7 strikeouts for Verlander, a season high. Here's Thome. Thome has walked twice in this game. And he's halfway there to another one. 2-0. Thome hit .249 last year. Most of the season was Chicago before being sent to Los Angeles. There's another one that misses. 3-0.
I don't think Thome's taken one swing here tonight.
.30 pitch. Still hasn't. Ball 4. 3 straight walks to Thome.
Verlander's had some nice stuff here tonight against the Twins, but really what has hurt him is the fact that he's had several 3-ball counts, and you really can't do that to the Minnesota Twins. But when he's really needed to make a pitch, whether it be the 4-seam fastball, the 2-seam fastball, the slider, or the changeup, he's had all of them working, and he's been able to maneuver out of a few jams against a very good hitting ball club the Minnesota Twins will run at you.
Now ball 1 to J.J. Hardy, and that brings Laird out to the mound. So for Verlander now, the pitch count is at 118, and you see 2, 3, and 4 were some heavy innings.
And more than likely, he's going to go over that 120 pitch mark for the 19th time in his career.
J.J. Hardy with a double and a ground ball. These two teams have had some chances. Of course, the Tigers had a leadoff double in the 5th. The Twins had a leadoff triple in the 5th. Ball outside. Thome must have worked out hard in the offseason. He looks slimmed down there at first base. And he has mentioned that, the older you get, the more you have to really pay attention to your offseason training program because it gets harder and harder and harder.
Yep.
Body gets older. The 2-1. Driven in the air and hit well toward left center field. This one might be trouble, and Rayburn can't hold on. Thome will come around, and he will circled on that ball, and it hit him in the glove, and it's 1-0 Minnesota. A 2-out run for the Twins. And here comes Leland.
And second double of the game for Hardy, and he climbed the ladder that time and got a fastball. And it looked like Rayburn and Jackson were going to collide. The ball hit right off the heel of the glove of Rayburn. He's calling it at the last minute and just did not corral it. And the ball bounces about 7-8 feet away from him, which allows Jim Thome to come around to score.
And that is going to be it for Justin Verlander. It's a wall-side windows pitching change. Tigers will go to the bullpen and will step aside. 1-0 Twins. Are the numbers on Verlander: 5 2/3, 4 hits, 1 unearned run. That is the second error of the game for the Tigers. The new pitcher is on now for Detroit.
Well, Bonine just needs to keep the score right where it's at and allow his offense to somehow see if they can get anything going against Francisco Liriano. Bonine has been tremendous this year for the Tigers. The numbers validate that.
Here's Brendan Harris. First run in the game, scores with 2 outs after Verlander had struck out the first 2 batters in this inning. A walk to Thome, his 3rd of the game, and that walk set up the run. And the Twins score first. This game has had only 6 hits between the 2 teams. Bonine's 0-1. Almost hit him as he spins out of the box. 1-1 on Harris. Here's a strike call.
And Bonine has that hard knuckleball that he throws, and his knuckleball really acts like a forkball. He said most of the other guys that throw knuckleballs that he has seen in the past, and even Wakefield, for instance, those guys throw a little slower knuckleball, more of a floater. But he's got a hard one. You can see the grip and everything on that one. Look at the tumble. How about Exmo? I see you, Exmo.
Knuckleballs are made for Exmo.
Laird does not have a knuckleball glove, though, does he? I don't think so.
I've never seen him bring one out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bonine for Verlander here in the 6th. 1-0 Minnesota.
Bonine said he taught himself that knuckleball in junior college. Did not pitch a whole lot in high school and wasn't a hard thrower. So he wanted to come up with a little bit of a trick pitch, and that was a knuckleball. And Jim Leland has encouraged Bonine into throwing that knuckleball a little bit more often, which means Jim must like it.
Not too many straight knuckleballers around anymore.
There is one guy, though, pitching for, I think, the Dodgers. I saw his name, but I didn't remember the name. But there's Wakefield, obviously, and then whoever's starting for the Dodgers tonight throws a knuckleball, too.
That one got away, and he hits the number 9 hitter. He's starting tonight for the Dodgers?
I believe so. He's starting tonight.
So Gene Lamont back on the phone. They had Fute Knee warming up as well.
No, not Kuroda. Padilla's on the disabled list. Whoever's pitching for Padilla, they don't have it listed here in our notes.
Here's Mr. Knee. Here's Denard Span with 2 on.
Well, the left-handers figure to get a lot of work when the Tigers go to do battle against the Minnesota Twins with all the left-handed bats they have. So Knee and Thomas and Cope will be very, very busy most nights against Twinkies batters.
Span tonight had a triple that was back in the 5th. Didn't score, though. He's 1 for 3. Hardy, the runner down there at second base, and Harris is your runner at first. Meanwhile, 2-0 is the count on the hitter. Justin Verlander has put his jacket on. He's back on the bench. Three and 0. We got Hudson waiting on deck. Bonine trying to keep this from turning into a big inning. There's a strike. 3-1 on Span. Verlander looked like he was going to cruise through the 6th. He struck out Kadire, struck out Kubel, and then the walk to Tomey opened the door a crack. 3-1 pitch. So Bonine hits a batter and walks a batter. They are loaded now. And you've got Orlando Hudson coming up, and you've got Jim Leland coming out. And he wants the lefty. Mauer and Morneau lurking as well. So Bonine will pitch to 2 batters in this game, and Fute Knee will come trotting in. And we will step aside. Another pitching change here at Comerica Park. 1-0 Minnesota.
Tigers merchandise, including clubhouse caps and t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and more. Get your gear straight from the source at the Tigers.com shop.
Boy, you need that gear tonight.
Yes, you do.
Temps right now in the mid-40s. And right now, Futeni coming out of the bullpen to try and get Orlando Hudson. Bases loaded with Twins. Hudson a single in 3 at-bats. Well, the big play was the Hardy fly ball that was dropped. He's at third. Harris and Span also occupy the base paths. Twins trying to open this one up a little bit with a big 2-out hit. Bouncer right back to the mound, and Knee flags it down. Nicely done. Side retired. They'll leave him loaded. They get a run, though, an unearned run as we go to the bottom of the 6th.
Brandon Inge taking a double away from Kadai. All the way back in the 1st inning. He backhands it in a very strong throwing arm across the diamond. Coors Light Freeze Cam is always brought to you by your Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Well, there is a change now, and a pretty big one here for Minnesota. Justin Morneau is out of the game, so this will spark a chain reaction now. Delman Young is the new left fielder. Kubel will move from left to right field. And that means that Michael Kadire will move from right field to first base. Here's a bunt by Santiago Liriano. He's equal to the task. 1 gone. Back stiffness for Morneau. That's why he is out of the game. So Young replaces him in his spot in the lineup.
If Santiago bunts this ball a little bit further, look at Liriano fall kind of toward the third base side, and he's headed in that direction. If Santiago's able to push it a little bit further and gets it past him, he may have gotten a hit there, but it's a nice recovery, nice athletic play, and by Francisco.
1 out now for the top of the order. Austin Jackson. Jackson 0 for 1, has hit safely in 5 in a row, but the Tigers tonight have only 2 hits, a double by Cabrera and an infield hit for Gerald Blair. Ground ball to second. Scooped up there by Hudson. And Liriano cruising in this one right now. He has struck out 7 in this game. Verlander struck out 7 before departing. Here's Johnny Damon. Strike 1 to Damon. Hit the ball hard his first time up, lining out to left. Then he bounced into a 4-6-3 double play in his last at bat. Checked it, but he went 0-2. He's hit safely in 13 straight. Trying to keep that going with a hit here in the 6th. The 0-2 pitch.
As good as Liriano has been here tonight, really only takes, and for the Tigers to put together a couple of really good plate appearances against him, make him work out there.
That was just his 78th pitch of the night.
He has been in total command. Really pitching the way that we heard he was pitching before he got here.
Driven down the right field line, and that ball is down. It's a base hit and more. Damon on his way to second. He keeps the hitting streak going with a 2-out double.
One of the things that Damon always talks about, he talks to the young kids about this. Even if you have a couple of at-bats during the course of the night where they're not good at-bats, you strike out a couple of times, it only takes one good at-bat for you to kind of get your team back in it, or for you to get a big hit to drive somebody in late in the game. And that's something that Damon does in talking to these young kids. He kind of keeps them going.
It's a 14-game hitting streak now for Damon.
The little bit of stress that Liriano has pitched in today, when he gets in traffic, he goes to off-speed pitches.
Meanwhile, the ground ball to second base is going to end the inning. So Ordonez is out. 2-out double stranded. 7th inning on the way. Bobblehead. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or log on to tigers.com. Right now we have 19 strikeouts on Verlander's K counter, but give him 7 more tonight. So that would be what, 26. There you go. That's the neat thing about the K counter. You can just follow Verlander all season long and rack up those strikeouts. Right now it's a 1-0 game as we go to the 7th. There have been only 7 hits between the two clubs in this one, and Joe Mauer leads it off. Mauer, then Young, and then Kadire. First pitch to Joe Mauer is way inside. He is backed out of there by Fute Nee.
We have seen Nee do that quite a bit this year with that breaking ball for whatever reason. If it's slipping out of his hand or he doesn't have a good grip on it, but he has thrown quite a few breaking balls like that that have not done a whole lot.
On the outer edge, 1-1 on Mauer.
Numbers not bad for Nee.
Mauer hitless in this one. Couple of ground balls and a flyout. Won his third batting title last year. Hit .365 in the process. A couple of Gold Gloves, a couple of Silver Slugger awards, and a nice big contract in the offseason to keep him in Minnesota. Right back up the middle. Santiago with a nice play, and he guns him down.
He robbed him of a base hit right there. Santiago has had him played perfectly tonight.
Third time he's hit the ball to Ramon. One out for Delman Young. Young getting his first at bat. A stiff back for Justin Morneau took him out of the game. Delman takes ball one.
Saw Dimitri here today at the ballpark in the Tigers clubhouse before the game. Here watching his little brother play some baseball. Dimitri looks good. He's slimmed down a little bit.
He really has. We asked him why. He said, well, no big league food anymore. No big league spreads. What do you expect? And he's got a point.
Yes, he does.
It's easy to pack him on with those spreads.
Yeah, good to see him, though. He looked good. It's been a while.
Here's the 2-0 to Young.
His younger brother off to a little bit of a slow start this year, but he does have 2 home runs. He's driven in 9, but he stepped up huge for Minnesota last year, last 15 games of the season. As a matter of fact, he hit over 300 after the All-Star break at Delman.
And so Young gets himself a walk. 1 on, 1 out. Delman is aboard. That's going to bring up Michael Kadire. Kadire showing his versatility tonight. Started in right, is playing first base now, and has also played third base in the big leagues. He's 0 for 3. Strike one from Nee. Well, of course, with their new ballpark in Minneapolis, Target Field, they are keeping track of all the firsts at Target Field. And the first RBI, courtesy of Kadire in their brand new ballpark. And he should have quite a few this year. Kadire right now with 17 driven in.
He's got in a pretty nice spot to hit in behind the M&M boys because they're always on the base paths.
Ground ball left side. Inge on the charge. Fires to second one. Relay. Scooped. Not in time. Kadire is safe at first. Cabrera continues to excel at making that backhanded scoop. Nice play.
And Cabrera hustling out of the batter's box. Inge takes very little time getting the ball to Sizemore. Sizemore throwing across his body. Couldn't get enough on the throw to get Kadire, who runs better than most people think. He's not a bad runner. Not a burner, but not a bad runner.
Inning still going for Jason Kubel. Mixed night for Kubel. Couple of strikeouts, but a double. That's a balk. Foutini called for the balk. That did look a little bit funky, and they have nailed him for it. So move the runner to second.
Paul Emmel called it right away.
It's going to bring Rick Knapp out of the dugout now. And he'll make a trip out to the mound.
Hey fans, Tigers fans who are currently serving in the U.S. Armed Forces at home and abroad, or you can receive a free DVD of this season's home opener telecast against the Indians. It's a project titled Operation Opening Day. For details, visit tigers.com/Operation Opening Day. It's the second consecutive year that you have put that DVD together, partner. How's this one looking this year?
It's gone really well, Rod. We had 1,000 copies made last year, and we had 1,000 of our military members pretty much gobble them all up. It is free of charge, so you know, all you need is a valid military PO address, and you know what? It's gone good so far. So
it's not just a game, though. Was it pregame, festivities,
postgame,
everything?
The whole game, yeah, all the festivities surrounding the ballpark. So you know, we hope our service members can take advantage of that.
Well, I know you got a lot of nice fan mail last year regarding that, and how people appreciated the fact that it was almost like bringing opening day to them.
Yeah, a lot of our soldiers were nice enough to write cards and letters, so we're happy to do it for them. It's obviously not a big token, but it is a token of our appreciation. And for the second straight year, the Tigers gave them a win, so that's a good thing. Jason Kubel now with 2 outs and a runner at second base. Here's the 1-0, and it's swung on and missed. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kubel last year knocked in 103 runs. He had a couple of really big games last year, a couple of 6 RBI games, and reaching career highs really across the board offensively.
That's why every now and then we kind of get caught talking about Mauer and Morneau and, of course, Joe Nathan when, you know, he was healthy. But the Minnesota Twins are much more than that. They have an outstanding manager, really nice coaching staff. Then they've got guys like Kubel and Kadire and Punto's always making plays, taking away runs. I mean, they got just a really good baseball team.
Yeah, they're pretty deep. Kubel, of course, coming back from that injury, which kind of stalled his career early on. A knee injury when he collided with the Tigers' Ryan Rayburn playing Arizona fall baseball in one off season, and it was a collision that Kubel got the worst of. Tore up his knee, but he has since come back from that and has become the hitter they expected him to be. Three and 1 on Kubel. And there's ball 4.
I don't know what Rick Knapp said to Fu-Te-Ni with the base open and Kubel in the batter's box. But whatever he did say to him, he told him to pitch to Kubel very carefully, and he has walked him to go after Jim Thome.
That's 6 walks by Tigers pitching in this game as Ryan Perry begins to heat up.
The Twins are averaging about 5 walks per game this year. They've been a very patient team, as have the Detroit Tigers. Tigers have walked quite a bit this year.
Ball 1 to Jim Thome, and now Laird walks out to the mound. Well, one of their strengths has been the bullpen. And in fact, the Tigers' pen leads the American League with 7 victories, and they are second with a 2.6 ERA.
Coming into play today, the Twins led major leagues in walks with 96, just ahead of the Atlanta Braves. And of course, the Tigers had drawn 92 free passes before tonight's game. As we get a look at the shift that they have on Jim Thome.
Ground ball, and knocking it down is Sizemore, but he can't throw him out. He throws it away, and here comes a run scoring. Kadire is able to come in. Sizemore got to that ball, able to knock it down, but his throw was wild.
Well, one of the things that Sizemore is still learning, and that's when to kind of slow the game down, and that's what most young players need to do. When you don't field it cleanly, and you have to know who the runner is, which is Tomey, you still have time. If you get up and you take your time and you don't throw wildly, you may have a chance of getting Tomey, but that's still part of Sizemore's game that he'll learn.
Single lead 4, no RBI. And Kanair comes in standing up. 2-0 Minnesota. Tigers have committed their 3rd error of this ballgame tonight. 4 of them this year for Sizemore. And here is J.J. Hardy. Strike 1 on Hardy. 2 runs, 5 hits for Minnesota. No runs, 3 hits, but 3 errors for Detroit. Fly ball, center field. Jackson cruising over. And that is that for Minnesota, but they add another run. Leave 2, stretch time. Cabrera ends, Rayburn coming up. Well, the Twins have added another run. They lead 2-0 now as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Tigers need to get the bats going. They have had just 3 hits against Liriano. Easier said than done because Liriano has been awfully good tonight. He has struck out 7. Tigers have a couple of doubles against him. Unable to score either one, though. Cabrera has one of those. He led off the 5th with a 2-base hit. Now batting .366. That now gives Cabrera 9 doubles in his last 12 games.
One of the things that we talked about regarding Cabrera in spring training, if he stays healthy, you can write down a 300 batting average with 30 home runs at least and 100 RBIs and maybe 45 to 50 doubles. He's that good. It's a good fastball by Liriano. 3 straight fastballs at 94. To Cabby. Cabby didn't like that last
one. The 1-2. Fouled off. Well, he was pretty good on the West Coast trip, that's for sure.
Off the chain. 11 games, 3 big flies, 15 RBIs. All those doubles you talked about.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss.
Ooh.
Liriano really rolling tonight. That is his 8th strikeout.
Ooh.
Liriano's pitch count by inning, it's a total of 85. Here's how they break down. And so the 8 strikeouts ties a season high. He also struck out 8 Boston Red Sox back on the 15th.
He got a little margin for error. Now he's got a 2-run spread. He's starting to let it fly.
Well, Liriano originally showed up at a San Francisco Giants tryout camp as an outfielder, but really didn't hit for a whole lot of power. So the Giants moved him to the mound. And then in the minor leagues, he was traded in that Pierzynski deal, and he came over to Minnesota, and aside from the injury, has flourished.
What a steal that was. Joe Nathan and Liriano in the same deal.
The 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. 2-2. They also got Boof Bonser in that deal.
Yep. Where's he at now? Boston?
I think so. Here's the 2-2 pitch.
Liriano's had them all working today. A couple different breaking balls. They'll get me over slider at about 84. And then he throws that little harder one about 86 to 87 that he wants to get down toward the back foot of the right-handed hitter with 2 strikes. He's commanded both sides of the plate with his fastball. This is about the best we've seen Liriano, and we've seen him real good on occasion.
Well, Liriano is certainly looking like an ace here tonight. He has kept the Tigers off balance most of the evening. Again, Detroit with just 3 hits. And one of them was an infield hit. High fly ball left field. That ball is going to hook and go foul.
Brandon went down and looked like he got that slider before it got to his back foot. He hit that one right off the carpet. It's a tough ball to keep fair, however. Good to see Brandon's bat perk up last night. Couple of home runs. Big double in that win over Texas.
Well, that one he hit off the back wall was probably one of the 2 longest home runs he's hit, according to Brandon. He said he hit one off the restaurant at Rogers Center in Toronto. Swing and a miss. Couldn't hold up there. So now a season high 9 strikeouts for Liriano.
Just a couple of starts ago, it was Kobe Lewis of the Texas Rangers that punched out 10 Detroit Tigers. And it looks like Liriano is headed in that same direction.
Here's Rayburn with 2 outs. Well, Liriano struck out the side in the 3rd. And he's ahead of Rayburn now 0-1. Swing and a miss.
Pitching clinic today. Filthy.
The 0-2. Talk about that 06 season that Liriano had, his best year before the surgery. He finished 3rd in the Rookie of the Year voting that year. Justin Verlander, of course, won it. And Papelbon of Boston finished 2nd. Then it was Liriano 3rd.
3 real good pitchers.
Liriano putting on a show tonight. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Driven to center field on the line. Right there is Span to retire the side. A 1-2-3 inning. And as we go to the 8th, you're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by El Tire. Twins on top 2-0. Francisco Liriano certainly has been a big part of the story. He has given up 3 hits, no runs, and struck out 9 in this game. Johnny Damon did extend his hitting streak with a 2-base hit. He is it safely now in 14 straight, and Verlander went 5 2/3 with 7 strikeouts of his own and no earned runs for Verlander. And they are all bundled up here tonight on a chilly evening. The scoreboard tells us it is 42 degrees outside, so some hardy souls hoping for a Tiger comeback here tonight, but they are all covered up. Meanwhile, Futeni back to the mound, and he will face the Twins' Brendan Harris to lead it off. Harris, then Span, and then Hudson against the Tigers lefty. Harris 0 for 2, hit by a pitch from Eddie Bonine back in the 6th. Tigers tonight have gone with Verlander, Bonine, and Nee. Here's the 0-1. Harris, a player that Ron Gardenhire can use in a bunch of different spots. He has played short, second, third, played some first as well. Not a whole lot there, or as much as the other positions. But every manager wants at least one of those guys that you can throw at several different spots. Versatility, depth. The 1-2. Got him. Strike 3. Nee has a strikeout. Harris doesn't like it. And he's having a little chat now with Paul Emmel.
It may have had a little bit of a beef. Ball looked like it was down and in.
Now to Nard Span. These two teams going at it the next 2 nights as well. Scherzer and Baker tomorrow. Willis and Pavano on Thursday.
You know, we talk about the fact that the Tigers just had that real tough road trip out to Seattle and Los Angeles, finishing up in Texas. But next couple of weeks schedule is awfully tough as well. I got these Twins a couple times. LA's coming to town. And then when the Tigers get back, it's the Yankees in Boston that will be here at Comerica Park. So first 6 weeks of the year, tough schedule for the Tigers.
And that's what Leland was saying before the game today. He said it's nice to get that long trip out of the way, but we are far from out of the woods. In fact, I mean, we're talking about a 20-game stretch without a day off, and we're only halfway through it, basically.
Yep. Meanwhile, Minnesota had a day off yesterday, and they were here in Detroit, chilling, while the Tigers are playing last night in Texas. And they probably got in a reasonable hour from, I believe it was Kansas City, where they had their last stop before coming to Detroit.
Now the 1-2. Got him. Strike 3. That's not going to make Span very happy. He's been thrown out of the game, and he throws the bat to the backstop. Span has been ejected, and here comes Ron Gardenhire. Boy, that was a quick hook right there.
Well, the pitch to Harris was not a strike either. And apparently Span didn't like that one, and he must have said the magic words, and he got run rather fast.
It's about as quick as you'll see someone thrown out of a game. Need picks up his second strikeout. Here it is again. That kind of toss?
Yeah, probably. The hand gesture.
And there goes the bat. So Span is out. They've already lost Morneau with some back stiffness. 2 gone. Here's Hudson. He pops it up. Right field line. Cabrera, tough play. Not going to be able to get there. 0-1 on Orlando Hudson. 1 for 4 tonight. Fly ball. Left center field, shallow. Jackson is there, and Futeni has a 1-2-3-8. We head to the bottom half here at Comerica Park. Here's the updated player of the game voting. It is presented by the Deluxe Angus Third Pounder. And right now, Justin Verlander leading the way in our McDonald's player of the game at 35% of the vote. You can still vote throughout the rest of this evening here. Right now, the Tigers got to get the bats going. It is 2-0. They are down. And they've managed only 3 hits tonight against Liriano, who has been outstanding for Minnesota. Gerald Laird leading it off. Liriano got the Tigers 1-2-3 in the 7th. The 0-1 is on the ground to third base. Alexi Casilla has just checked in. And he sends it over to Harris, who was playing third. 1 away.
You were talking about that versatility that Harris brings to the table.
Yeah, here you have a great example of Casilla at third now, and Harris goes to first.
Casilla just didn't hit a whole lot last year and basically lost his job to Orlando Hudson.
Meanwhile, Michael Kadire has moved to yet another position tonight. He's in center field now.
Yeah, that's 3 of them.
He started in right, went to first, and now is in center.
Casilla got that big base hit late in that game, that 163rd game of the year for Minnesota, which propelled them to the postseason.
Trying to forget about that.
Driving home Gomez.
2-0 on Sizemore. What's going on here? Paul Emmel pointing out to center field.
Light on or something?
Must be.
Nope, something on the field.
How could he see that? From home plate against the center field wall.
This man is probably asking that same question. If you know what I mean.
I'm not going to touch that one. 2-0. Scott Sizemore. 3-0. Well, Liriano has crossed the 100 marker now. That was pitch 102. 3-1 on Sizemore. He's facing the bottom three here in the 8th. Bouncer right back up the middle. It's through. And the Tigers have their 4th hit. Single for Sizemore. He's 1 for 3 tonight.
The Tigers have not had many friendly turns to hit in today, and that's why they haven't had a whole lot of success against Liriano. He's been ahead of just about every single hitter. 18 of 26 first pitch strikes here tonight for Liriano. That's really good, especially with his stuff and when he's got everything working. If you're 0-1 every time you go up there, it's going to be a long day, and it's been a long day for a few guys. Some guys, you don't worry about them getting ahead of you. I mean, you still feel like you've got a chance to do a job, but Liriano, first strike on everybody, and when he gets first strike on you, he's very hard to hit.
There is activity in the Minnesota pen. The duo is Brian Dunsing and Matt Guerrier.
Guerrier, imagine that. He pitches a lot.
1 ball, 1 strike. It seems like through the years the Twins have had a lot of guys that have gone 70+ appearances, even into the 80s.
Since the beginning of the 08 season, no reliever has pitched in more games than Guerrier. That's how durable he has been.
All the way. 1-2 on Santiago. Got him, strike 3. Liriano punches out of another one, and that's an even 10 for Francisco. Strikeouts galore in this game.
But a whole lot of them strikeouts looking today. A ton of them.
19 strikeouts combined in this game for both sides. Here's Austin Jackson. 0 for 2 with a walk.
I've got 9 of the 18 strikeouts by both teams today looking. And that's a pretty good indication of a pretty big strike zone. You don't usually see big league hitters, at least like not 9 combined on both sides, taking strike 3. As good as the pitchers are that started in this game today.
One and one on Jackson. And again, on the outer edge, and Jackson didn't like that call. You could tell by his body language as he walked out of the box. 1-2. Wow. Fox Track saying a little bit outside. The 1-2 pitch. Line drive caught by the shortstop Hardy on the backhand. So the Tigers are done. 8 in the books here at Comerica Park. Mauer, Young, Kadire on the way. by Bell Tire. Get the best tire price, period. Bell Tire. Beautiful shot of downtown Detroit, the Motor City. As we go to the ninth. 2-0 in favor of Minnesota in this one. The Tigers have managed only 4 hits tonight against Francisco Liriano. And Futini is back out there for another inning of work. He will face Joe Mauer to start things off in the Twins' ninth. Mauer hitless, 0 for 4. And he takes a ball outside, 1-0. Meanwhile, only 5 hits tonight for the Twins. The difference, the Tigers have committed 3 errors, which has been a big part of the scoring here this evening. Mauer's put the ball on the ground 3 times. And he waves and misses. Way out in front of that one, 1-1. Knee came on in the 6th, got the final out of that inning, pitched the 7th and the 8th, and now here in the 9th. Rolled toward first, foul ball. He hit it off his foot, and Mauer is in some pain right now.
Ugh, he's got all that protection on his ankle and hits one right off his big toe.
One and 2 on Mauer. The 1-2 is inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the reigning AL MVP. Mauer just signed that contract before the year started. Stated that one of the big reasons he did is he loves to play in front of friends and family at home, and he just wanted to stick around. He got enough money. And strike 3 called. Mauer's not going to like this, and he is 0 for 5. Third strikeout for Knee. The last time Mauer was 0 for 5, August 1st of 09.
Another strikeout looking.
Well, when Mauer gets rung up on a pitch like that, you're right, the strike zone is kind of big. But it's been that way all night. Ryan Perry's going to be coming in now. Futini gave him all he had. Another pitching change. We step aside. Here comes Perry.
Presented by Bell Tire tomorrow night on Fox Sports Detroit and in high def on Fox Sports Detroit HD.
Scherzer and Baker in game 2 tomorrow. April in the D is certainly winding down now. Just a few days left. So Perry is on for the Tigers. Delman Young will face him, and the first pitch is outside. Nice job by Foutte tonight. 2 2/3. Struck out 3. Young has had only 1 plate appearance. That resulted in a walk, and he waves and misses. Big swing. 1-1 on Delman. Young last year hit .284 with 60 RBIs. Driven foul back out of play.
Perry's done nice work this year for the Tigers. 9th game now that he's been in. 1 loss. Has 5 holds. The earned run average respectable. 7 strikeouts. 5 walks.
The 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Delman Young. Young hit as many as 25 home runs in a season in the minor leagues. Most he has hit in the big leagues is 13. And missed outside, 3-2. Delman that first year when he broke in an A-ball knocked in 115 runs.
Just a teenager then.
Yeah. Three-two pitch. Lost him. Ball 4. So Young gets a couple of walks in this game. 7 altogether for Tigers pitching. There's Michael Kadire. Also hitless tonight. Did reach on the fielder's choice and score in the 7th.
Don't forget about Young on first base. He has the ability to steal a base. And if you're Perry, you want to make sure you keep the double play in order.
Ball 1. Kadire last year hit 32 home runs for Minnesota. Ground ball to third base. Inge gobbles it up. This should be 2. And it is 5-4-3.
Nice job by Perry.
So we go to the bottom of the 9th.
Liriano in this game today, and Gardenhire has taken him out of the game, and we're going to make him our bell tire pitch by pitch. He was first pitch strike on just about every single Tiger that he saw, and he mixed up all of his pitches. Different breaking balls off the outside part of the plate, an occasional fastball that froze change-ups. But the key for him was the fact that he was able to get ahead, and he, like so many of the Minnesota Twins pitchers, they just threw a lot of strikes.
Rick Anderson was impressed tonight. There's no doubt about that. The Twins pitching coach. Well, he's got to be real excited about what this season might hold for Liriano. Here's the new closer with Nathan on the DL, John Roush.
They really haven't missed a beat with Roush closing games for them. He just blew one the other day, but the team still came back to win that game, and that's why he has the one win. Liriano was 20 for 28 in first pitch strikes today.
That's pretty impressive.
Oh, outstanding. Outstanding.
10 strikeouts for Francisco. Damon trying to get it started here. And a bouncing ball back up the middle. He will. It's a base hit. Leadoff man on. Second hit of the game for Johnny Damon. Good start. That'll bring up Ordonez. Maglio is 0 for 3. See if he might be a little bit more selective here in the ninth inning after Damon had doubled with 2 outs in the sixth. Maglio swung at the first pitch and rolled out, ending that frame. He has faced Roush twice. That's it. An 0 for 2 career against him. Five hits for each team now. Strike one.
You felt like Maglio should have took a strike his last time up?
Well, who am I to tell Maglio what to do? But he swung at that first pitch after the double by Damon. That end of the inning. The 0-1. He has taken 2 strikes here. 0-2 on Ordonez. The rally caps out in force tonight. Mauer with the block. 1-2. Damon has led things off with a single. He held up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Three and 2 now. Roush quickly ahead, has fallen behind. On deck is the big fella. Tiger fans here tonight, 22,000 plus, hoping for a rally here in the ninth. Bouncing ball left side, deep in the hole. Hardy will fire to second, and that's all they will get. Fielder's choice. Ordonez aboard. 1 out. See if Cabby has another ninth inning home run in him. Cabrera went back-to-back with Inge last night. That gave the Tigers a win and a split in Texas. He was homered against Roush. 3 for 10 against him. 2-0. Cabrera tonight with a double and 3 at-bats. .361 average. Strike called on the outer edge. Roush pitched well for them after he came over from Arizona last year. He appeared in 17 games, had an ERA of 1.72, and was moved into the closer slot this year with the injury to Nathan. He's been around a while. He's pitched for the White Sox, Washington, and Arizona. Get back toward the seats and out of play. 2-2 on Miguel Cabrera. Into the glove of Mauer for strike 3, and that is a gargantuan strikeout for Roush. And when you total them all up, 11 strikeouts now for Minnesota pitching tonight.
Fell behind Cabrera 2 balls and no strikes before working the count back even 2-2, and that breaking ball may have been a little bit up and out of the strike zone, but you never know. Pitches that are close and have been close today have been called strikes, so you better be swinging.
Here comes Brandon Inge. Last chance for the Tigers here. Tying run still at the plate. 2-0 Minnesota in the 9th. Inge tries to hold up, unable to do it. 0-1. 0 for 3 tonight for Brandon. Pair of strikeouts. Fouled away. Now it's 0-2. Inge has had 4 career bats against Roush. He is 0 for 4 against him. Twins 1 strike away from their 14th win of the season already. Driven foul. John Roush is a load, that is for sure. He's 31 years old, 6'11", 290-pounder. And a ground ball foul, third base side. Swung out and missed. He struck him out, and Roush picks up another save, his 7th of the year. And Minnesota comes away with a victory here tonight as they shut out the Tigers. 2-0 our final score from Comerica Park. Only 5 hits for each team. Twins take game 1. Back with more from Comerica in a moment.